Hello guys, welcome to my channel Learners Flow. So today we are going to learn about variables and data types in Java. So what is variable? Variable is a named block of memory which is used to store the data. So we can say it is like a container. Okay, so it is used to store the data. So in a container, what we do, we usually use the containers to store something. Okay, so like that. So I said that for an example, so you need to consider it like a container. Okay, so it is a named block of memory, okay, which is used to store the data. So to store some data, it is like a block, okay, block of memory, which is used to store the data. This is nothing but variable. Okay, so let us see the characteristics of variable. Variable has a name. By using it, we can store the value and we can fetch the value from a variable. So for variable, it has a name. So by using that name, we can store and we can fetch the value. Fetch means accessing, okay, accessing or using. We are using that is nothing but fetch. So variable has a name. By using it, we can store the value and we can fetch the value from a variable. Okay, so variable can store only one value at a time. So it is I already told you that it is a named block of memory. Okay, so it can store only one value at a time. For example, here this is the name. Okay, so variable, this is the variable we have considered. So this is the variable name, that is a equal to 10. This is the value. This is only a one value. Okay, we are not considering more than one values, so it can store only one value at a time. That is why this is nothing but variable. So this is also an example, b equal to 40. So it can store only one value. This is the example for the second point. And the third characteristics are variables can be reinitialized. Reinitialized means nothing but for example, if here we are taking a equal to 10. Okay, so if we want to change the 10 to 20, we can change it by reinitializing. So how to reinitialize, everything you will be learning in the upcoming videos. Okay, so this is all about variables. So variable is a named block of memory which is used to store the data. So the characteristics are, variable has a name. Okay, so name is nothing but this a. So this is the variable a. So by using it, we can store the value and we can fetch the value. Storing means here nothing but a equal to 10. This is called as storing. Okay, and we can fetch the value from one variable. Fetching means for example, if we want to fetch means how we do is, already we have learnt about printing the statement, right? So system.out.print a, if we give means what we get, this 10 value we get. So that is nothing but what, fetching. Accessing, we are accessing. Okay, so that is called as fetching. Variable can store only one value at a time. Here is the example, a equal to 10, b equal to 40. We cannot say like a b equal to 40 comma 30 comma, we cannot store more than one value. This is only one value, this is only one value. So for a we can store only 10, for b we can store only 40, or else we can store any other values, but only one value at a time. Variables can be reinitialized. Reinitialized means we can change these values. Okay, so this is all about variables. And let us see the creation of variables. So for everything we have in Java, we have syntax, right? So syntax for that is data type variable name, variable equal to value. So data type variable, I will tell you what is data type. Okay, so variable, and now only you just saw that variable. Okay, so data type variable equal to value. This is the declaration part and this is the initialization part. Declaration, initialization. Declaring, here we are declaring the variable and here we are giving the value to the variable. So this is nothing but initialization. Data type variable, this is declaration. Variable equal to value, here we are giving the value, so it is called as initialization. This is the syntax for creating the variable. So what are the conventions with respect to variables? If you don't know about conventions, go watch the previous video, so you will be getting to know the conventions. Okay, so one word. So let me tell us in a single line, that is, convention is nothing but if there is a company means they will give some rules to follow to follow. Okay, so that is nothing but conventions, but it is not mandatory in Java, but the companies will make some rules and we should follow that. So that is nothing but conventions. Okay, so for variables we have conventions. With respect to variables we have conventions, that is one word. If the variable is one word, then all letters should be in lowercase. For example, here see age, q, a. So here we consider the variable name, right? So that is that is nothing but this only. So whatever we want we can give. It is like a name, so whatever we want we can give. So if it is in one word, these are one words, right? So this is in if it is in one words, all the letters should be in lowercase. See, everything are in lowercase. If it is two words, first word should be in lowercase. See here, first word is in lowercase, second word first letter should be in uppercase. This is the second word I have considered, and the first letter should be in uppercase, second word first letter should be in uppercase. See here the same example, first word is lowercase, second word first letter should be in uppercase. So this is the conventions with respect to variables. So if it is one word, all the letters should be in lowercase. If it is two words, first word should be in lowercase and the second word first letter should be in uppercase. This is the convention with respect to variables. I think you are clear now. So let us move to data types. Okay, so these are the one which is used to specify what kind of data has to be stored inside a variable. So in the syntax of the variable you saw this data type. Okay, so you saw this data type. What is this? These are the one which is used to specify what kind of data has to be stored inside a variable. So inside a variable we store the data, right? As I told you, inside the variable we store the data. So these are the one which specify what kind of data that variable has to be stored. So whatever we want we cannot store like that. Okay, so it is not like that. So this data types are the one which will specify. So now you can store only integer values, or now you can store only variables. Now you can store only values, like for example alphabets. These so the data types are the ones which specifies. So that is called as what? Data types. Okay, so example int. So this is the data type, this is one data type. I will tell you what is this int in the upcoming videos. Okay, so int is a data type to store integer values. Why it is using? To store integer values. So if we want to store a value inside a variable, okay, so what is the syntax for storing the value inside a variable? Syntax is data type variable name equal to value. So what is the data type here? We can consider like int. Okay, so int a is the declaration part and a equal to 10 is the initialization part. A equal to 10 we are considering here this value. Okay, so we are now storing, this is the variable name, this is the data type variable name equal to value. So see here, data type variable, this is the declaration, variable equal to value. So this is what I have mentioning here. I have given one example here. Okay, so now fetching or accessing the data, I told you, right? So system.out.print, here what we are doing, here we are mentioning this a. So what will we get in the output? We will get the output as 10. Okay, so this is nothing but fetching or accessing the data. Okay, now let us see it in, see here, data type variable name equal to value. We can declaration and initialization parts are we can write it in one line also. Okay, so declaring, initializing, if it is more lines means it is we should so developers always should focus on what? We should always focus on to we should not increase the values, we should always focus to reduce the lines. Okay, lines of code. So instead of declaring initialization in separate lines, we can do it in one line, like we data type variable name equal to value. Okay, here itself we are putting equal to and the value. Okay, so see here, int a equal to 23, this is two lines. Here we are putting in one line only, int a equal to 23, whatever value we want we can give. If we print system.out and print a, what we get now? 23. So this is how it is working. So I think you have understood. So data types are what? These are the one which is used to specify what kind of data has to be stored inside a variable. Okay, so like integer values or decimal values, what kind of data you want to store. Who will decide? Data types only decide. If the data types is in int, we can store only integer values. If it is in some other thing, we can store that respective values. Okay, so let us move to the types of data types. There are two types of data types. One is primitive data type, another one is non-primitive data type. So let us see what are primitive data types. Okay, uh, what are they? Primitive data types, non-primitive data types. Okay, so let us see what is primitive data type. These are the data type which helps the variable to store primitive data. Okay, so what is meant by primitive data? Here I am given, these are the data type which helps the variable to store what? Primitive data. What is primitive data? Primitive data means these are single value data. Single value data means nothing but the data which requires single block of memory in order to get stored. So here the data is requiring only single block of memory. See here, this is only a single block, this is also a single block. The data is required only single block. So 10, for 10 it requires only one block of memory to get stored. So this 10 only requires one block, and this true, this is a single value. Okay, this requires also one block of memory. So this or nothing but what? Primitive data. Primitive data means these are single value data, the data which requires single block of memory in order to get stored. So this requires only one block, another block is not required, this requires only one block. So for any other value, like whatever we want we can store. So for 10 it requires only, or for 11, whatever the number it may be, but it requires only one block. So this is nothing but what? Primitive data. These are the data which helps the variable to store primitive data. Primitive data means these are single value data, the data which requires single block of memory in order to get stored. Okay, so this requires single block of memory in order to get stored. So I think you now understood. Primitive data means single value data, it requires only single block of memory in order to get stored. So now let us see what are the types of primitive data. So there are 8 types of primitive data types are there. So first, what did we saw? Data types, and then the two types of data types: primitive data types, non-primitive data types. So now we are going to see the 8 types of primitive data types. So in Java, this is the main this is the main thing. Okay, so what are the primitive data types? We have byte, short, int, long, float, double, boolean, char. What are they? Byte, short, int, long, float, double, boolean, char. So for byte, short, int, long, these four are used to store integer values. Okay, integer values means numbers, as you all know that. Byte, short, int, long used to store what? Integer values. Float, double, these two are used to store decimal values. Boolean, decimal means what? 5.2, 6.3, or 5.234, whatever it is, these are called what? Decimal values. Okay, boolean, it is used to store boolean values. Boolean is nothing but true or false. Okay, char, what it is used to store character. Where character means a single value. Okay, it may be numbers or it may be any alphabets. Okay, so this four are used to store integer values, this two are used to store decimal values, boolean is used to store boolean values, char is used to store character value. Okay, let us see one by one. Byte, short, int, long, float, double, boolean, char. These are the 8 primitive data types. If you want, you can write it in a note and learn it on your own. Okay, so that's all about this video. So thank you for watching. So in the upcoming videos I will be telling you the non-primitive data types and everything. Okay, so stay tuned for that. Till then, bye, thank you.